Hey everyone. So there are a lot of reasons as to why people get fired. And when you think of being fired, you think of, not doing your job correctly. Like that's one of the main ones is a corporation's not going to keep somebody that's not going to do their job. And some other reasons are like calling in sick when you're not actually sick, um, taking, vacation days over the amount of time that you actually get from that company. Um, Not showing up or leaving all the time. And one of the main ones is either not doing the job correctly or just failing to do the job at all. Now, I had a coworker that actually did almost every single one of these, and she actually just got fired probably about a year, not even a year ago. But I've never personally got fired from a job, but she was the definition of an awful coworker. She was in my department and she didn't do anything right. She was fine for about the first year. And then after that, she just would leave whenever she felt like it. She would not put in orders correctly, not do traffic correctly. And where I work at the radio station, it is crucial that, we do our jobs to the best of our abilities because my department is the last line of defense before things actually go on the radio. So we have to make sure everything is running correctly, and she just wouldn't do that. Well, our radio station is owned by a bigger corporation in Portland, Oregon. And so out of all the ones that they own, Moberly's is probably almost the smallest. And in order for her to actually get fired, my supervisor could not do it herself. It has to go through corporate. And in order to do that, we spent about a year getting evidence, getting, facts of what she was doing wrong, how she was messing up revenue, different stuff like that. We had to put it all in a file, and we had to send it off to Portland for them to approve my supervisor to fire her. Well, she ended up firing her after a huge file was made. And that coworker actually acted really surprised as to why she was getting fired. And I think that's a lot of the issue is a lot of people just act like they're surprised, but like if you are getting fired, you should know why you're getting fired. If you're doing your job to the best of your ability, there should be no doubt in your mind, that you're going to keep your job, that you're not going to get fired. Now, if you're slacking or not doing your job, then you should have a little bit of fear like, oh, I should probably step back up in my game because I could be getting fired. Like, I don't even like missing one sick day, even if I'm half dead, to miss my job because I just don't like the feeling of, they need me there, but I can't be there. And they only have one of me. So it's kind of hard to replace somebody to do my job whenever I'm the only one in my department that's there. And another story that actually happened with this same radio station that I work at now is I've been there 2 years, so this was 2 years ago. I had my interview at 1 o'clock, and I went in and I went and told the receptionist, I have an interview with my now boss, and she said, okay, take a seat, and she'll be down to be with you shortly. I said, okay, great. Well, I sit down, and she asks me, she goes, so what position are you interviewing for? And I told her, oh, I'm interviewing for the copywriter position. And she just goes, oh, like all sad. And I just thought it was kind of odd the receptionist was upset about somebody else's job. Well, after I got hired and after everything was done, I started to talk to people in the station, different stuff like that. Come to find out, my position requires me to go down and cover for the receptionist while she goes to lunch at 1 o'clock, which was when my interview was. So I basically told this individual that she was getting fired and I was taking her position. And that was a error on my supervisor's fault for not thinking, oh, she's going to be down there when she comes in for an interview for her position. And like I said, that's been 2 years ago, and they still hold it over my head, and they told me, that is one thing that's going to go down in Crest history. But the thing about this coworker that got fired is she was doing the same exact thing the other one that just got fired not that long ago was doing. She wouldn't do her job. I mean, as the copywriter, you write the copy that goes on air. You send it down to have the news people record it. You even record the ad copy sometimes. So it's a very attention to detail job. and she just gave up caring about it. And when you stop caring about a job, you're not going to have the motivation or initiative to do it. So your work ethic completely just leaves. Now, there are examples of people that have gotten fired when they're actually doing their job too well. Now, that sounds like completely crazy because around here, you want to do your job well, you want to show how great you are at it. But in bigger corporations, which I'm sure has happened possibly even in my corporation in Portland, where the manager doesn't like the fact that you're overdoing it, like above them, beating them in sales, whatever. So they'll just go ahead and fire you so they don't have that competition, or so that they don't think that you're going to take their job at some point in time. Now, you always see this in movies where there's one manager out to get, this certain individual because they're doing really, really, really good, and so they don't want that hassle of trying to compete with this individual. And after doing some research, that does tend to happen in bigger corporations and bigger cities. Now, not like I said, not so much here, but that is also another reason that not a whole lot of people think about reasons to get fired. And like I said, a lot of people think the reasons are bad. So like the main ones are, not doing your jobs, different stuff like that. But then again, there's also the ones where in bigger corporations you do your job too well and you can get fired also.